Blessings and welcome. I am Robert, humble messenger and narrator, and it is my privilege and honor to share with you conscious channeling from LL Research. And with that said, welcome to the Law of One. I am Hatonn, and I greet you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. We thank you most heartedly for allowing us to share this meditation with you and are overwhelmed by the pleasant peacefulness that seems to surround your domicile. We are working with this instrument one word at a time, and therefore there may be pauses. We apologize for the pauses, but there is some gain in accuracy in working in this manner, although it leaves the instrument without any idea of what is to follow, not even one concept ahead, and therefore it is not often attempted until the instrument has had some experience. Jupiter, or Jove, is no longer worshipped. The great interrelationships that held so much meanings in cultures and mythologies other than your own are no more, except in the lasting bonds of literature, poetry, and so on. Yet it is often a good and worthwhile thing to gaze back upon other cultures seeking for the truth, others seeking for definition of who they are and what the nature of the world in which they live is. Indeed, it is helpful to gaze at your own culture in this way. You might move 10,000 of your years into the future in your mind and then gaze back at the passion and the majesty of the Jewish and the Christian saga. Much would be put into perspective, both about the nature of the saga, teaches that man truly is, and about the nature of the world in which man lives. This is similarly so of any of the other current belief systems. There are those in any culture who have the capacity financially to do precisely what they wish. What many wish to do is to skim the surface of their lives as if the conscious mind were a frozen pond and the waters beneath too dangerous to examine. There are those who do not wish to cook, and so they go to restaurants and eat other people's cooking. It is possible that the same food, cooked carefully and in small portions, might taste better made at home, but it is not the quality of the food that interests those who go to restaurants as much as the convenience and the lack of personal labor involved in the ingesting of someone else's food. Such is the nature of any dogmatic religion. The believer chooses to accept a spiritual food which has been prepackaged for convenience. In a dogmatic religion, the questions are ever fresh, but the answers are often unsatisfying if one wishes to prowl to the extent of looking beneath the surface for the answer. We disclaim any criticism of your religions. For it is in the cradle of systematized religious knowledge that those young souls who come into third density, thirsting for spiritual truth, are given the greatest chance of making contact with themselves in a spiritual sense at a young enough age that the self may eventually use all the knowledge of organized religion to gain courage to take the plunge beneath the surface thought. Do you long, then, for the Greek mythology? Do you still gaze hopefully at the enchanted glades of yesteryear, awaiting the dryrads to peek out from the trees and the nymphs to smile from the waters? It is doubtful. Do you, to some extent, regret loss of Buddhism, Christianity, Confucianism, or any so-called organized religion? It is not necessary. It is possible for you to both know of the surface nature of dogma and to know that is also a valuable key which, used by a seeker, may open the door to the self. During your meditations, you can come very close to a door. Even if you do not meditate daily or not at all, it is possible to attain fairly quickly a certain level of awareness of exactly what sort of thing it is that you are seeking, what kind of journey you wish to make, and what equipment you wish to take with you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. The kind of equipment that you look for, the kind of tools, the kind of thoughts that you wish to pack in your bag are those things which produce fertility or leaven for change, giving good fruit, giving heavenly bread, causing transformation in your journey. It is written in the Christian holy work that the kingdom of heaven is like leaven, and that in time a little leavens the whole loaf. Again, it is like a grain of mustard seed that grows until the birds of the air may nest in its branches. These similes are not meant to be taken literally, but the feeling of growth, of a more vivid life or a more clarified existence becomes familiar to the seeker, and its lack is a lack that causes an emptiness that cannot be filled by worldly pursuits, no matter how enjoyable or how productive they may be, for what each is engaged in is the seeking of the deeper self. If you are choosing the tools to climb a mountain, you would choose carefully, for your life depends upon your equipment. If you choose to go diving, again, you would be very careful. Not only would you take care that you had the right equipment, you would work on your skill. The skill that you need is something which is often called meditation. Meditation has no dogma. It is a form of what this instrument calls prayer. It is a different experience for each person, but in each person it furnishes the skill necessary to use the tools which are given you by your experience and the growing harvest that you have reaped from your experiences. If there is not a smile within your heart as you awaken into a new day, it may be possible that you have lived upon the surface a day an hour, a moment too long. It is time to dive within, into yourself, to find that pearl of great price, the self. Or to put it another way, again, as it is written in your holy works, the kingdom of heaven. We offer you the cavent, the one that you have already, by your very natures, committed yourselves to change. It may be reluctant change. You may fight against it tooth and nail, for you may not be able to back off for 10,000 years in your mind and view the circumstances which are causing change with a calm mind and cheerful heart. Nevertheless, the change will come. We encourage you in your growing transformations. Know that all of nature rejoices with you when you have touched upon that central joy that is the Creator within you. Know that it cannot get so deep that you cannot resurface. If you're seeking, be always with the light touch, always with the grain of salt. Your innate seriousness, that is, the innate seriousness of your journey, of your natures, and of your being, guarantee that you who have once become aware of terms such as consciousness and love and brotherhood shall not be able to lay those things down, but shall carry them in your heart. That heart need not be heavy. The sunshine is within you. The bubbles that sparkle in your mineral waters are within you. The metaphysical humor of consciousness within your clumsy physical vehicles is within you. Circumstance may seem to assail you, but that which can heal and save with room to spare is within you. So let us never bid farewell to Jupiter, nymphs and dirads and saturns. Let us leave Gautama with his boat and the joys of Christ risen in the kingdom. Let us praise the way of Buddhist and rejoice at truth with the calm stoicism of Confucius. But most of all, let us trust in our own discrimination, in our own information. Each of you, my friends, has a critically unique path. What is extremely valuable for one entity may not inspire another. Therefore, again, stepping back, release the rest of the population on your sphere from all judgment, for its spiritual search, for its dogmas, for its conceptions of the divine and the nature of the self. What matters to you and what shall matter to you long after the physical vehicle which you wear is dust is the deep self. And how shall you find the deep self? How shall you know yourself and therefore the universe? One step at a time, my friends. Be prepared for anything from years to sudden brilliant revelation. What meditation does in one vibratory system of energy fields may take years. It may take days. It may take instants. Each entity is totally unique. Each entity has its own tools, and it should and it must claim biases. things that seem to the intellect to be crutches, things that you bring to meditation, not things that you keep in meditation. We leave you to your search. Others wish to speak if they can, and so we should shorten the message tonight to accommodate our brothers and sisters. But we must take this moment to thank you with all of our hearts for sharing the mortal evening with its intimate and personal sounds, the sounds that make a life on the surface, and for sharing the depths of your seeking and your love of the truth with each other, with us, and with the creation. We are so sorry to counsel patience so often, for we know that it seems from your vantage point to be a real drawback to the spiritual search. Patience is difficult. Patience is necessary, and a compassionate acceptance of yourself and your worth, while you exercise the patience and wait in faith for that revelation which has not yet come, for that presence of the Creator which you do not yet feel, is a very great and important part of your learning of the lessons of love. We are your brothers and sisters of love, and would spend just one moment energizing the heart area of each before we leave this group. We shall pause. We salute each of your open hearts and trust they may be filled with cheer and the joy of life, both life as you know it now and life in its infinite form which you carry within you as a seed, and for which this mortal life is good, rich earth for the flowers that shall bloom an eternity upon your selfhood and your consciousness of the one Creator. We are those of Hatonn. Adone, my friends. Adone Vasu.